So we were a bunch of like young girls like making this film, and it was very exciting because it was basically Clueless being made in India. So it was like a fashion journey that started off with that film. There were like 4 or 5 amazing ones that everyone looked up to and wanted to be like, but the whole styling industry has really boomed, I feel, or pivoted in the last maybe decade. I got to work and pick pieces from like an Atelier Versace collection, which was only going to be possible to do for like a runway piece, which was only possible to do like at the Vanity Fair Oscar awards and like, you know, so like I got to work with the designers and custom pieces that was never possible with anyone else. I do although want to see more Indian designers being represented internationally, not just by Indians and Southeast Asians at red carpets, but also by international actors. I would love that, you know. I mean, that would be incredible, right?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of What's Brown Got to Do With It. So my guest today is a name to be reckoned with. I'm reading off this because her list is so extensive, I don't want to miss anything out. She's an alumna of Parsons School of Design, New York. She has built an unparalleled reputation for her work with most of the leading celebrities in India. She has an Instagram following of over 1 million. She has been labelled as one of the most powerful personal stylists in Bollywood by Elle India. Her extensive list of celebrities she has worked with include names such as Katrina Kaif, Sonam Kapoor Ahuja, Kareena Kapoor Khan, Sara Ali Khan, Janvi Kapoor, Kriti Sanon, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Shraddha Kapoor, Frida Pinto, Jacqueline Fernandez, Malaika Arora Khan, and many, many more. Aside from styling for Bollywood, she has also styled extensively for the biggest international fashion events such as the pre- and post-Oscar parties, BAFTA, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, as well as the Cannes Film Festival. So it is with great pleasure I am so happy to introduce my guest for today, Tanya Ghavri. Hi, Tanya.
Hello. Thank you for that extensive, amazing introduction.
I feel like I left some stuff out there.
No,
so
absolutely
I mean, we can
not.
talk about that. But I'm so happy you're here. And I just want to say this is probably my first in-person podcast this season, so thank you for agreeing to come here. I know we've been going back and forth and everything.
I know, no, I'm happy. All's well that ends well. So I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad we're doing this in person because it's always nice to kind of to put a face to the person that you've been chatting with, and we're trying to make this happen. So
I know
I'm glad
for
it's
so
happened.
long, but thank you. So let's just start about your journey. You have, I mean, you know, that introduction was no joke. Let's talk about your journey. How did you get into that? What inspired you to, kind of break into the world of fashion and styling? And I mean, I'm sure there were challenges along the way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would say, Shadia, just like any other kid, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I was very confused and very kind of intimidated with everything that was going on in the world. And I always kind of knew that I wanted to make a mark in some way. My dad actually played cricket for India. So he was someone that, he was, an international test and one-day cricketer. And I always kind of was like, it's very important for me to excel in something. I grew up with that feeling, whether it's my sister or me, like we both grew up with that. So so when I was growing up, I knew I was always creatively very inclined, even though my father, I think, tried everything in his hands to make sure that I'm sport inclined, but I think I was always creatively inclined. And so as a teenager, I was always exploring, and I was always in art and design, always kind of was something that my heart went out to. So I think when I was studying in college, I went away to, I applied to a lot of art schools, and I got into Parsons, which is super, super tough to get into. And I knew that I had to go, and I was very excited. And New York was like my campus, the whole city was my campus. So it was a very liberating and creative experience to go there and study. And I think when I was there, I just fell in love with fashion. And after that, actually, I came back to India, and I did internships at Vogue.
Okay.
Vogue was just about coming into India, and I worked at the supplement issues. I continued studying. I didn't stop studying when I came back from New York. I did a fashion design, apparel manufacturing design course and I took every opportunity possible to work while I was studying, so I would go to class, work for like, study for like X amount of hours, and also try and do like as many shoots as possible that I could possibly do as an intern, as an assistant. So I basically was trying to grasp every bit of knowledge that I could get. And that's how my journey started. I worked at Vogue. I worked with a couple of costume designers and stylists in India at that time, and tried to gain as much experience. And then my first gig was Aisha as an assistant stylist to Tanya Ghavri.
Oh, the one with Sonam Kapoor.
Yeah, that's how it started. My journey started with Aisha. And we were all a bunch of very young girls, whether it was Ria, who's a very close friend now, who's a producer, Sonam, who was the actress, Purnia, who was the costume stylist I was working under. So we were a bunch of like young girls like making this film, and it was very exciting because it was basically Clueless being made in India. So it was like a fashion journey that started off with that film, and then it was like back to back, and I styled a lot of actors after that. That's how it all happened.
And were there any challenges? Like, how did people perceive your choice of career?
When I first started, sorry to cut you, when I first started as a stylist, there were a lot of like stylists at that time that were like iconic in India, like in terms of like people that was much more senior to us, whether it was Anita Shroff or Ami Patel, who was at L'Official at that time, I remember. And like a lot of other stylists at that point that were doing incredible work in India. But in terms of like the amount of stylists that are right now, there weren't that many. There were like 4 or 5 amazing ones that everyone looked up to and wanted to be like. But the whole styling industry has really boomed, I feel, or pivoted in the last maybe decade, So I think we were like the first crop of stylists, like say after Anita and stuff, like there was Shalina and there was me and there was Mohit Rai and like all of my contemporaries now. So it was an interesting time, but of course there were challenges. When they're not challenges, you know what I mean?
Course,
the hours were crazy. There was no sense of like schedule, I would do fittings at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m.
Wow.
Like it was crazy, but it was also exciting. I've learned time management over time.
I'm sure. I mean, you've styled so many Bollywood celebrities. How have you navigated like pushing boundaries from such a traditional kind of image conscious industry? So how have you like made your mark in there?
I think the most important is, I always say like authenticity is super important. So I have never in my styling journey tried to ape. I may look up to a lot of people. I love the way so many stylists work with other stylists and like they're doing such incredible work, whether it's internationally or in India or the designers. But I don't like to ape anybody else, right? So I will always stay authentic to the way I like to style someone, which is why like if you see someone styled, it needs to be like a Tanya Ghavri kind of, USP to it,
Right,
when I style someone. So I've kind of always maintained that, which is like, I love androgynous, I love minimal, I don't maximalist is not my style, I know that someone else could do that amazingly. It's not my forte, so I've always kind of stuck to that. So that is something that's been very important to me. Just stick to what your USP is, and within that, experiment. And try to do various things. But it needs to be someone needs to come to me for my strengths. When they come to get styled by me, they're coming to get styled by me for my strengths. So I always maintain that.
And what's been your most like favorite or iconic styling moment?
God, I think there have been a few, but I think at the top of my head, I think things that I have done with Kareena for sure,
I mean, she's such an icon.
She's such an icon, So I remember I did a beautiful Devarnil sari with her, with a Christian Lacroix jacket, which we did as a blouse, and then we mixed it up with like an Amrapali vintage piece, or the first time we did a YSL moment with her, the first time that I did a Tom Ford moment with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think there have been a few iconic moments with Karina, and I think definitely with Frida, because I got to work with designers that I don't think we're working with any Indian actors, but
Yeah.
somehow because it was Frida, I got to work and pick pieces from like an Atelier Versace collection,
Yeah.
which was only going to be possible to do for like a runway piece, which was only possible to do like at the Vanity Fair
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah.
Awards and
Yeah.
like, so like I got to work with designers and custom pieces that was never possible with anyone else. So I think, yeah, those were a few of the iconic moments. For
What
sure.
about like a fashion disaster that you look back and you think, oh my God.
God, I think I mean, Pari is a very close friend of mine now, and I absolutely adore her. But I think the first time or the second time that I styled Pariniti, I think it was a moment that I remember looking at later the next day, and I was like, oh my God, I could have done way better with her. And I remember apologizing to her and telling her that we will do amazing stuff one day. And we did, we did a
Yeah.
lot of amazing appearances together. But I have made mistakes like that, where I realized much later after doing it that, okay, maybe that wasn't. So everyone makes mistakes in their
Everyone
career.
evolves. Like it's all about evolving.
100%,
right?
100%, yeah.
In any career, it's not just.
Yeah. Even like someone like Sarah, who I was with yesterday and I styled so much, like in the beginning of her career and when we were working together, we made some mistakes and we learned from it, eventually. Yeah.
I mean, going back to, you just spoke about Frida Pinto. Do you get typecast with only, styling desi wear or just styling like South Asians, where you want to actually experiment and do more of, non-desis?
Yeah.
Breaking into that industry.
Honestly, I would love to, because I've been working in India with I love working in India. I love working with actors in India. It's what's given me where I am today. But having said that, I have worked for like 15 years now. And of course, as a creative force, as a creative person, I would love to work with other creative forces, creatively collaborate with people from all over the world, whether it's today I'm sitting in Dubai, like I want to be able to work with a lot more people here. How exciting is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you meet someone new and their energy is new and, you're creatively collaborating, talking about like what you can do with them and how you can kind of change the way they feel and they appear every day. How exciting is that? That's the best part of my job. So working with new people, always exciting. Working with people, I would love to, whether it's Europe or the US or Dubai for that matter.
Okay, so if you could work with somebody, name one person if you could work with in Dubai or in the UAE, who would that be?
I think Danya, yeah.
Oh, from Dubai Bling?
Yes, of course. I mean, she's gorgeous and, how interesting. What an interesting
she
personality, to work with. So, yeah, definitely someone like her and, lots of other people as well. But, yeah, definitely to start with.
Maybe we could make the Danya thing happen. Like,
Yeah.
Dee, we need to talk. You heard it here first.
I would love that. I would love
That
it.
would be so great if like this collab happened.
I think, yeah, Tanya Ghavri into Danya could be interesting, right?
Yeah, well, I think we can make that happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
How do you think, in your experience, how has the representation of South Asians in fashion evolved? Like, do you think we're seeing more inclusivity? Or how do you feel when you're seeing like, our traditional desi wear, for example, and it's being sold in like Zara as, a dress or something?
I mean, I remember going for Paris Couture Week this year. And I go every year for Couture Week, and I see versions of saris at Zuhair Murad or Elie Saab or whether it's Rami Alali, like so many designers, so many amazing designers world over, and then we see Indian designers making a mark internationally, whether it's Rahul Mishra or Gaurav Gupta, like Anamika Khanna, Anamika Khanna just did a collection with H&M, So I think there's a lot of inclusivity happening. I do, although, want to see more Indian designers being represented internationally, not just by Indians and Southeast Asians at red carpets, but also by international actors. I would love that, I mean, that would be incredible, right? If we saw a lot of the Indian designers being worn by, now I know, Sabyasachi just did jewelry for JLo. Like, how exciting, you know what I mean? Or Gaurav Gupta is styling all of Hollywood right now, and he's such a close friend. And it's such a proud moment, or whether it's Suhani, who has a brand called Misho, and everyone's wearing her, including Zendaya, who India loves, So I think that crossover is happening, and I want it to happen more. And I hope a lot of designers in India, a lot of actors in India are really supporting designers in India, and I hope that they are all able to cross over. And it's all creatively, what's interesting is when Indian actors wear international brands, international actors wear Indian. It should all be kind of, that's where the magic happens, that's where it's interesting, or whether it's brands in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, also amazing brands, I've seen that are based. There is a brand called Hamda Al Fahim, who's amazing, and I put their clothes on Deepak Khosla for a Bulgari event. Beautiful clothes. And, so I always want to work with designers that are doing, incredible work, and their craftsmanship is beyond amazing, So for me, as a stylist, it's always amazing when I see brands that are pivoting every season.
Can we please talk about this crossover, and can we please talk about the Kardashians and their choice of outfits for the Ambani wedding? Like, what was that? Why was that? Why was that allowed?
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, of course, they were wearing Indian brands, and amazing, like, good for the Indian brands. I'm very happy for Tarun and Manish and whatever. Although I do feel that it could have been done more tastefully, for sure.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
Like, there's that whole thing on Diet Sabya about the NRI fashion gate, and how, like, expats or NRIs have no sense of fashion when it comes to desi wear. Like, where do you think that disconnect is?
Not everyone, for sure. I have met some desis internationally that have impeccable style, and they are very with it with what the brands are and etc. But of course, I'm saying majority is a little bit confused in terms of how to buy, what to buy, where to buy, all of these questions, and they get a bit left behind in terms of, you will see a lot of beautiful Indian women and men dressed super chic, super put together, and then you see Indians that probably have more money but don't have the same taste, because they're not as exposed, and they probably are not moving with, in terms of designers also. Every year there's a new crop of designers that are doing incredible, very interesting work in India, but maybe NRIs internationally are not even aware of them, So I think it's just about being a little bit like with it, what I mean, on social media, like what's happening, who are the new designers, what is the work that they're doing, and then you can always kind of stay up to date. But there are some amazing, I think Rosamund is someone in Dubai who is so well put together, always so well dressed. So well dressed and so elegant. And she's really like, she knows what's going on, where it's at.
But she was in fashion from a very young age.
Correct.
So she,
of course,
had that experience and exposure. So
but I do see a lot of women in Dubai, when I go to events and stuff, that are very well dressed, and some that are too much, for me. But
Dubai thing.
That's
what it's about.
Like they say, right? Chanel, I think it was Coco Chanel, who said that, I don't think maybe probably Dubai understands that, but pull out one accessory when you leave the house, like one thing less. Because less is more. But I don't know.
Here.
Not here. More is less. More is less.
So, there are so many people from like marginalized communities that are kind of breaking into fashion, and you're seeing more and more of it. And we're lucky because we have social media. But, you know, someone like Urfi Javed, who, you know, like, and her designs and how she's come from where she was to being this kind of like fashion icon in her own right. There was another girl, I can't remember, but I think she was recently, maybe she was at the Cannes film, but like
of
and
course.
you know, making
I know
her
the
own
clothes.
Like, what advice would you give to aspiring fashion designers or stylists from like marginalized communities that are trying to break into that industry?
Yeah, I think freedom of expression, freedom of not getting stuck or typecast in what is working, what is not working, and being able to really, truly 100% be authentic and express yourself. You know, the minute you get stuck in, oh, this is what's selling and this is what's working and this is what is going to make you a business and et cetera, you will get stuck in a loop, because then you will, it's herd mentality. You will end up doing what everyone else is doing.
True.
The minute you pull yourself out of that, do something creatively that is true to who you are, you will then find your unique space.
Yeah.
And then within that space, then you can explore and find a business within that, because people will come to you for something that you're doing unique and different. And then within that, you can figure out, okay, this is what's different, but now I have to make money as well, right?
Yeah.
So now how do I make this into a commercial line or a ready-to-wear line or whatever? But people will come to you for something that you're doing differently, you know? If you're going to copy a Tarun or a Manish or a Sabia or all these brands, then how are you different, you know? So you need to find your own voice. So I will definitely tell stylists or anyone aspiring to even be an influencer. I mean, there is a reason why an Urfi or anyone else found a voice, because they were trying to do something different and they were not getting stuck in any kind of loop of what everyone else was doing, you know?
Or caring what everyone else was thinking.
Yeah.
I actually love that about her.
Like, I mean, they were shouting from rooftops that this is me and this is who I am and I'm going to own it. And whether you like me or you don't like me or you hate me, this is my voice, you know?
I like that. And I like that there's that freedom available now, because I feel
100%.
like, especially, you know, in India and all these places, it just wasn't available for the longest time.
But I think social media that's the upside, right?
Definitely.
It's given a voice to a lot of people, you know. There may be lots of downsides as well, but there are a lot of upsides, you know.
So, talking of business, you also co-founded Dhoom Dhaam Weddings.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Dhoom Dhaam, and like, how do you balance traditional aesthetics with like modern?
Okay. So Dhoom Dhaam is a company that we founded about 8-9 years ago. My co-founder is Ashi Dua, who's from India, and she's amazing. And she actually was the one who was the brainchild behind it, because she's the one who came to me and said that, listen, you're styling celebrities, etc., and a lot of people want to reach you, a lot of people want to get advice from you, a lot of designers want to work with you, but how is so much going to happen? You work with a handful of celebrities, but maybe you need to get introduced more. And she was like, how do we merge both these worlds, and that's how she was like, let's start a trunk show where you can curate a bunch of the new crop of designers in India, and you can introduce them to a world of people that want to get introduced to new designers, and they will get an opportunity to meet people that you are recommending. So that's how Dhoom Dhaam was founded. And we started off with shows in Bombay. It grew, the community grew, the Dhoom Dhaam community grew. And then we started doing shows in Delhi. Now we're in Dubai as well. And of course, we're just growing, and the community of Dhoom Dhaam is growing. And I make it so possible for people to come to me at the show, talk to me about designers that they like, about designers that we must have in the next season, help them shop, put things together. And that is the whole point of Dhoom Dhaam, the approachability to me, to my team, and constantly evolving the world of fashion, which is, there's always a new interesting designer, you know. And of course, the price point is the most important thing, that we are very sensitive to price points and make it very affordable for people to come and buy stuff. Yeah.
What misconceptions about being a celebrity stylist, like, do you think are the most common, or that a misconception that you would like to break?
I think the misconception is that, oh my God, you're in this amazing glamorous world where like you're just playing dress up. They make it like sound a bit frivolous.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, my friends and my family and everyone knows like it's a 24-hour job. Yeah. Literally. I wake up and I'm sourcing and I'm buying and I'm talking to my team and doing fittings and talking to managers and traveling, and the timings are crazy and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. Of course, I'm working with something I love, which is fashion. I'm working with clothes and I'm working with beautiful women. Of course, that is the best part of the job. But there's a lot of other coordination and time management that's needed. So definitely the misconception is that it's all glam. There's a lot of hard work. The glam is probably the 25-30%. The rest of the time is a lot of coordination, a lot of work. The timings are crazy, the schedule is crazy, your sleep, everything goes for a toss. You know?
Of course.
But yeah, of course, my life today, 15 years later, is not the same as it was 10 years ago, because now I'm choosing my work. Yeah. So I definitely have a sense of balance in terms of my personal and my professional life now. Yeah.
And that's a good choice to be able to have, right?
Yes,
because
of course.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me, like, how much input do, when you're styling a celebrity, do they have like really strong opinions on, like, this is, I mean, I can imagine styling someone like Sonam, who's probably very, very, cued on into what suits her and what doesn't. It's is that difficult, or does that make it easier?
I actually don't look at it as difficult, because I look at it as, I've always said this in my interviews, that it's a creative collaboration between the actor, between the makeup artist, my team, hairstylist. It's a team. It's teamwork at the end of the day. I love it. I think it's amazing when an actor comes with opinions. It shows. I love working with women with opinions, because it shows that they're thinking women. They have a voice, and they like that I have a voice, and we work together, so whether it's Sonam, or whether it's Kareena, whether it's Sara Ali Khan, whether it's Janvi, whoever, or Frida, or whoever I've worked with, they all have a voice, and I'm very interested in what they have to say. And I like to put together things along with them, So I find it very empowering that, we work together like
Hasn't there ever like a time when you're like, no,
100%,
not happening.
100%. It's happened a lot of times, and it's funny. And then we also have moments where we laugh about it, and I'm like, no, that you cannot wear that. You cannot be seen in that. You know what I mean? Over my dead body,
But what about like when you become friends? Because I know that you are like close friends with so many of, especially like the younger generation ones, like when they've, been out and they've been papped. And have you ever like picked up the phone and said, what were you thinking?
Yeah, of course. So many moments of that. I'm like, what? Did you just roll out of bed and go to the airport? Or what were you thinking wearing those shoes? Or like, what is wrong with you? And like all of that,
Oh, actually,
of course it happens.
Can we please talk about the airport look? Like, when did it become a trend? Like, how real is it? How much thought goes into the airport look?
For everyone, it's different. Some people are putting thought into it. Some people are just have an innate sense of style, so they're putting something together. And before the pap culture happened at airports, they were still putting things together. They were just not getting papped at that time. And today they're getting papped, right? Some people are making a lot of effort to put things together and have a full look, and then some people, it's just coming naturally too, and they just and some people are just do not care, and they're just like showing up, no makeup, but still looking like $1,000,000. Like Karina, like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
will
yeah.
not put so much effort. Like she is so chilled. Like she will have a top knot, wear a beautiful pair of sunglasses, have a bag, wear an outfit that
Still look,
she's
oh my God. Yeah.
and she still looks like $1,000,000, you know, because she just is royalty, you know what I mean? So and then there are people that are fully putting a look together, you know, and
Are they even getting on a flight?
we don't know about that one, but yeah, they are putting looks together and they're showing up at the airport and
Yeah.
like wearing heels and like, which I think is a bit ridiculous, you know. But well, some people wear heels to the airport because they are landing and going for an event directly. That's very different, you know, as opposed to wearing heels just for the airport. Like, who the hell does that? You know what I mean?
I tell you, my friend, like one of my best friends, she wears like literally like 10-inch heels. And she will wear it everywhere. She will go shopping in it.
I mean, kudos to her. Amazing that
Airport. I'm always
she's in a
awe.
movie.
Yeah, I'm always in awe. Like, how can you function? She can run in them. She can walk in them. She can probably
Amazing.
sleep in them.
Amazing. I mean, good for her if she can do it because, of course, like the minute you wear heels, it gives you like a sense of like confidence and you feel like sexy and like
Yeah.
whatever. For women, right? I'm wearing a pair of heels right now and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dressed up and whatever. So good for her if she can do it. It's just that I am like, oh my God, my back hurts and my arms hurt. And like, I just want to be in sneakers, you know, especially on an airport when you have to walk. And,
Yeah, of course.
yeah. So, I mean, to each their own.
I've got my flat shoes. I've got my shoes in my car.
Yeah.
My sandals in my car.
Yeah,
like-
I always have a pair of like slippers.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Flats,
Because I want
like
to
you
be
have to.
comfortable. Yeah, as I'm growing older, I'm like, I can't be bothered. You know what I mean? I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah. So, Deba, those heels. Let's talk about those.
Yeah.
Who has been your favorite celebrity? I know this is probably a hard one, but like, okay, you can have one or two that you have styled.
God, I'll always say Karina. You know, honestly, I started my career with her and we've had the best times. We've just had fun. Like, I would go to shoots and I would tell my mom, I've just laughed the whole day and we've worked in the middle. Like, I felt like that. Like, it was just so much fun to work with her. We had a blast and we just, while having a blast, while eating, we only talk about food. That vanity van is only talking about food. Like, we eat breakfast, then we want to talk about lunch, then we want to talk about tea time. What are we going to have a snack? What's the snack? What's the dessert? Like, all of this is happening in the van. And while that's happening, we're getting dressed, we're having fun. And I think maybe because we're having fun, we're also looking good, you know?
Yeah.
And she's such a happy girl. And I think I've done my best work with her, I would say. Like, personally, that's what I feel. I don't know what she feels, but I feel like that. And of course, like, there are lots of other people as well. You know, I've had so much fun styling Janvi. I used to style her mom.
Yeah.
That's where it started. You know, I met her mom and Janvi and Khushi used to be running around like little tiny tots, you know, telling their mom, okay, mama, wear this, and no, mama, don't wear this, and whatever. And today I'm styling both of them, you know, so it's quite a journey. So I think that's
I
special
love
as well.
Kushi style.
Yeah, I mean, Khushi is she's a little bit of a fashion icon herself.
Yeah, I actually think. I think
Yeah.
she's definitely evolving that way.
100%. I feel like
style.
she's got a voice and a language of her
Yeah.
own, and she has her own personal style, which is so innate. And she has this like Ria and me were talking about this in Goa. She has this like very like gray dark sense of humor as well, which is
Yeah.
like very straight faced, and she'll say something and it'll be hilarious, you know.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot of personality as well, and and a lot of opinions and what she likes and doesn't like, and she's very clear and a lot of clarity as well. So I think she's quite an icon. Yeah,
What,
when it comes to fashion. Yeah.
Has been a fashion moment that you wish that you had done that.
Interesting. I mean, so many of Sonam's looks, because I love the way Ria styles Sonam, and I feel so beautiful, you know, all the way. I think Ria styled Radhika Merchant for her Mehendi in that beautiful Phoolo Ki Chadar wala,
Yeah.
that Anamika look. It was iconic, you know. Or the way maybe like internationally, so many, the way luxury law styles India, you know, it's unbelievable, you know. The way maybe one or two three looks that have been iconic that the way Shalina styled Deepika. So definitely some of my contemporaries, the way they've styled the actors, or internationally so many. Elizabeth Stewart, who I'm absolutely obsessed with, the way she styles Kate Blanchett or Julia Roberts, or Luxury Law and Zendaya, or the way Random have styled J-Lo, Yeah.
So who's on your like wish list? If you could name a celebrity that you're like, this is like the ultimate person I would love to style.
Everyone in India knows I'm obsessed with Anne Hathaway, and I always say that I hope one day I will style her for something, and I keep manifesting it, so I feel like it's going to happen at some point.
Devil Wears Prada or something.
I'm obsessed with her, and I'm obsessed with her style, and I feel like she's so iconic, and she's so like timeless, So definitely her. And I feel like her style is also less is more.
Yeah.
She does the minimal chic so well.
Yeah.
So definitely Anne Hathaway.
I love it. Okay. What designer do you think is not given enough credit, or like...
Wow. Interesting question.
Yeah. That you think actually should be more out there or have more...
God, the row. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, they are freaking incredible. I know, their clothes are very, very expensive. That is also because they use their quality is like next level. And their clothes are very it's not for everyone. And I know that, but I feel like they are not being as appreciated in their time.
Interesting.
And they will be eventually, because they are, their quality and their structure and their silhouettes and their pieces are just incredible. Those two girls have just innate style, and the way they put their looks together.
But
on top of my head, the row. But in India, just loads and loads of designers in India that are probably like underdogs, but eventually will be remembered. I wouldn't say Raw Mango is an underdog. I know a lot of people that love Sanjay, but I still feel like, God, he should be getting so much more attention than he gets, because he's unbelievable. Like, his work is incredible.
Actually, agreed. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's coming up for you next? Like, what are your aspirations? Where do you want to be in 2 years, not even 5 years? And what's coming up for you imminently?
I think what's coming up is, of course, Dhoom Dhaam. We're going to grow the company, take it to a lot more cities and do a lot more exciting verticals within Dhoom Dhaam, so grow the company, take it to a lot more people, probably have, I can't reveal everything, but open a lot more avenues within the company, so that's something that's definitely in the pipeline. And eventually, I think over the next 5 years, I will definitely have a brand. What I do within that is something that I'm still figuring. I have a lot of ideas, but definitely it will be in the lounge resort wear.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what is an underrated city? Is Abu Dhabi. So maybe Dhoom Dhaam needs to come to Abu Dhabi.
Definitely, we would love to come to Abu Dhabi.
Maybe we can make that happen. Maybe we can get
We
D.
should.
Maybe you can come and help with Dhoom Dhaam in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love... Abu Dhabi is amazing, and I think in the last couple of years, I think it's really become a moment.
Definitely,
100%.
It's definitely becoming
so.
That.
If Abu Dhabi is the moment, then Dhoom Dhaam has to come.
Okay, you heard it here first. We're gonna make it happen. Okay, so the last question, and it's something I ask all my guests, is what does being brown mean to you? So, like in the world of fashion. How does it feel for you to be, Indian, a Desi in this big bad world of fashion?
I think being brown to me comes with a lot of pride, first of all. I always say that, God, brown girls can carry anything off, literally. Like, we're blessed with our skin color, like how many colors work on us. Like, everything, will lift us up. Whether it's neutrals, whether it's jewel tones, whether it's bright colors. So I think just owning our color and owning that we can wear, whether it's Indian designers, international designers from the Middle East, we can pull off a lot of stuff. Brown girls are beautiful. So I think they're unique. And I think it's about time we accept and really embrace that uniqueness, and really enjoy it. Start to really enjoy it, The sari is making such a comeback in so many different silhouettes and ways, whether it's the sari gown, whether it's the traditional sari, or whether it's a lehenga sari, So really just enjoy it, embrace different silhouettes, different fashion, and enjoy different colors, And I think as a brown girl, there's a lot of inclusivity happening world over now, Thankfully, we've finally come to that point. So I think just to enjoy this time,
I love that.
Yeah.
It's true. I love being brown too.
Yeah, me too.
But Tanya, thank you so much for coming today. This was so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun. I'm so happy we had this chat, and I think it was very interesting.
It was, and we're definitely going to see you in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, we will be there.
Thank you again.
Thank you again. Thank you.